Two.
Good evening. Tweeds County Board of Education meeting is now called to order. It is 6:05. And members present tonight is Mr. Harris, Mrs. Blackshear, myself, Isaiah Rouse, and Superintendent Mr. Dixon. Will we stand, please, for a pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight, October 1st, 2020, BOE call session.
I'll make that motion.
I second. The motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Harris. Is there any discussion at this time? Are you ready for the question? Again, the motion is to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, October 1st, 2020, board call meeting. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, say yes or raise your hand.
Yes.
That motion carried unanimous. Next is the exit statement by Ms. Teresa Blackshear.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest? Seeing none, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Mr. Dixon, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Vice Chair, Acting Chair, Mr. Rouse, and fellow board members. Tonight, just want to keep Ms. Shirley Stokes in our thoughts and prayers as she's away tending to her mother out of state. That is why she's not here on tonight. I also want to commend Ms. Renata Woodley on a fantastic job that she did with our Reach Tea and all those that participated on the program. As you all know, we would normally have had our Reach Gala, but I want to say thank you to all of our stakeholders and those people who support us year after year. And we still have some monies coming in, but right now we have collected almost $9,000. So that is to be commended in this time of pandemic and having to change the format from our Reach Gala to a Reach Tea, stay-at-home tea. So I am I'm just elated over that. So we're excited about that. We're also excited that this week we did start with our transition plan of phase 2 with our pre-K students coming in. We have about 23 pre-K students that are the little ones. They were so excited to be, we had very little crying this time. So I guess a few extra days helped them to grow up a little bit and mature a little bit. So they are ready. And they are back in school, and our access students are back in school. And I had an opportunity to go around and snap a few pictures and to see some of our teachers in action. And I was so amazed, Mr. Rouse, at Ms. Frick's class. As she was working with some students, Mr. Blackshear was working with a student, and then Ms. Wiley was working with a student over in another room. Sometimes people wonder why we have so many staff members in one room, but as you're working with that particular set of students and then see them in action and really working, the student that Ms. Wiley was working with was at home. And Ms. Blackshear was working with one at a table, and Ms. Fricks was working with 2 students there. And Ms. Fricks also had one on the computer that she was working with. So that was very refreshing to see that if we could get that kind of commitment from all of our teachers that we have from Ms. Fricks, and I want to commend her for that, because I know that takes something going above and beyond. So very excited to see that happening. I was very excited to see what was happening with our pre-K students as well, and going on and just going around to see the virtual learning that was taking place. Our teachers actively engaged with our students. So we're excited. Next week, we will try to add 3 more grades, kindergarten, first, and second. So next week, and then the following week, we will be on fall break. And then after fall break, we will add 3rd through 8th grade. And then the following week of that, the last week, next to the last week of October, we will bring in our 9 through 12. So as we transition, and parents do have the option of virtual, and we have the option of brick and mortar. So as we're transitioning through that, I asked earlier at our meeting at 5 that parents will be patient with us, work along with us, and we will get through this together. Thank you for what you all do, and that concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. I got a question on that. If the parents let them go back brick and mortar and decide to pull them back out for virtual, can they do it at any time, or is it?
If they choose to pull them out, right now we're leaving it up to parent choice, because one of the things that we don't want the liability or the responsibility of is that if anything should happen. Now, we're asking that if you're transitioning in, you transition at the end of a grading period. But if you choose to go virtual, we will allow you to do the virtual option at any time.
Okay.
And with the virtual, they would get assistance, you know, if they need help. The ones that's gonna be at home, how would that work?
Now, virtual, thank you, Ms. Blackshear, that's a very good question. Virtual will not look like it looks now. Because with the brick and mortar option that we're offering, it takes a little bit more when you've got students in the classroom. So what our plan is that you will have assistance definitely assistance once a week from someone from the district that will check in with you, on you once a week, a definite commitment of once a week. Beyond that, we have some teachers who are going to always go above and beyond. We will still have our cameras up, but our teachers will not stop teaching in the classroom to entertain questions that are out there, because there's no way in the world they can keep that going and keep that going. So it will look somewhat different than it does now. But of course, our goal is we have to educate all. So we would definitely have someone that will be checking on our students every week.
Superintendent Dixon, would it be recommended, as you stated, that if students are to enroll in, we would ask that you wait till the end or the start of the new grading period?
Yes.
If the student comes in and they want to go back home, would it be recommended that they wait till the end of the grading period to do so also? Or it would be okay to kind of stop coming mid-semester or mid-9 weeks?
It would be recommended that they finish out of 9 weeks. But due to circumstances, and we don't have any control over these circumstances, so if those circumstances permitted that we needed to allow them to leave before the end of 9 weeks, we're going to work with them.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, child that's going virtual, you say they will get some attention maybe once a week. So what happens if they have a problem, you know, during the day that they don't understand something?
Can I piggyback and add to that question? The question from the caller, in addition to the question Mr. Mike is asking now, is a student that has a question from a teacher. The caller asks, how often will teachers teach? I think that's daily. The response is someone from the district will communicate with them. That's in addition to a teacher communication, am I correct?
That's in addition. Someone from the district, whether that be the teacher, someone from the district will check in with you once a week. Now, that student will have access to the classroom during the day where the camera is on. But will the teacher be able to stop what she's doing right then and there and address that then?
Correct.
That probably won't be able.
So I think the root question is, what form of communication will students have with teachers in order to converse back and forth for Q&A?
It won't be daily.
Gotcha.
It won't be daily.
Okay. Yeah.
It won't be daily.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But if they have any kind of problem on logging in, they'll be able to contact.
Yes,
somebody to
now,
kind of help
technical issues can be addressed. Yeah, technical, support
Okay.
will be available.
Okay,
And that goes to a different
Yes,
group of people.
yes, but, so, and there again, most of our teachers are gonna go above and beyond. But what I don't wanna give the wrong,
Mhm.
that it's gonna look exactly like it looks
Mhm.
right now.
And for classes that have co-teachers, that may happen. Classes that have
They
co-teachers.
will have, theirs won't change very much because they have IEPs.
Right,
And so the IEPs drive their instruction.
right.
We have to fulfill those
Right.
IEPs.
But
So that,
lead teachers will not be able to respond to students daily for questions that they may have.
immediately right then, that's correct. But most of our teachers have that concern because there again, the accountability piece still goes back to us. And most of our teachers, if that kid is still tied, that kid is still tied to me. So if that kid is still tied to me, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do everything I can do
yeah.
to, but there again, if we go and say, a teacher's gonna contact you every day, the expectation is going to be from those parents, being that somebody's gonna get back with you within that day, within that hour.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Now our business agenda. Item A, approval of the resolution for special election. Action item, Mr. Dixon.
Mr. Chair, we, board members, as you know, the sudden resignation of our former chair, that we received at our last formal board meeting, of Ms. Joni Rainey, we now have to, fulfill that seat. And the only way we can fulfill that seat, according to the law, is that we have to call for a special election. And calling for that special election, we have to ask for, by a resolution to our election chairman, Ms. Deborah Stevens, that we will have to submit that in writing. We have to do that by board approval. So I'm seeking board approval to submit the letter, the resolution, to seek for a special election. The first time that we can have that special election will be in the month of March 2021. And I believe I provided some information for you all. As I've spoken, Ms. Stevens and I spoke with the Elections Committee up in Atlanta. I've spoken with our attorney, and so we believe that we've gotten good information as to how we need to proceed and what needs to happen. But in your packets, you should have all of that information with the document, or I'll forward it to you in your email. And the qualifying should be the first week of December. And that is a countywide seat.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. So you need a motion to approve the letter for the resolution of the special election to fulfill the chairman seat, correct?
Yes, sir. Are there any questions?
I move that motion.
I second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear, seconded by Mr. Harris. Any discussion at this time? Motion has been made to approve a letter or resolution for special election concerning the chair of Twitter County Board of Education. You heard the motion, you ready to vote? All in favor? And these are aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand. That motion carried unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Our next item would be the four-year degree pay scale action item. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Austin.
Well, I will jump right in, as we begin to talk about. We definitely, as a part of our, retention plan, wanted to look at what we could do, to help with our employees that we have that are with us, that go on to obtain higher degrees that may not be in the certifiable areas. So last board meeting, we did bring a scale to you that we looked at. After having some time to look at that scale, we want to bring, I would like to bring to you scales that are attached to specific jobs that affect those type particular scales. So if we could take a moment and have your opportunity to look at some of those, and let's look at some of those comparisons. That's where we are, and have some discussion. There may be some opportunities that you might want to look at, or some questions that you might have. And what we try to do is to give some percentage steps rather than a blanket 4-year degree type scale, if that makes sense. And Mr. Chair, these were the areas that were affected, and that's why we chose these areas, these salary scales.
So you said these are the area that was affected at this time?
That were affected at this time.
So what happens if we get some more areas where people come in with a bachelor's degree that's not in this area that you,
I think we would do the same thing.
so we'll be making a,
Well, we look at salary scales every year. Anyway, we have to approve salary scales every year.
and our budget stand is,
Our budget could stand this going forward.
so we can sustain this, not, this, we can sustain this past this year and the next year.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
And it's also here, you know, for you guys to look, and we can have some dialogue about, you know, the numbers that are here if we need to.
I know we looked at this at the last meeting. Is it, in a way possible, because it is a lot of information, could we look at it and table this and come back at the next meeting to make a decision on it? Or you need this pretty much tonight? I know we had it at the last meeting, but it's changed, so. Could we table it to the next meeting?
We could, but I know we've had it on the table, and we did, approve the last meeting, but we can, you know, if the board so desires, Mr. Ashley. There's no push.
Any questions? Anybody have any questions? I have some.
So I would recommend that we table it to our next meeting, to our next one.
Do anybody have any questions that forward need to be answered tonight that will?
Well, yeah, and I guess that's.
If we don't answer some questions tonight, we might be putting it off again at the next board meeting, so.
So with the scale, with the bachelor's degree, I know we got the different levels. Is it any way possible that we could have did just like one supplement or? No? For the four-year degree? Or we have to follow?
That's an option. I suggest we table.
Well, let's discuss before we agree to table. For parapros as of December 2013, why didn't we use an updated parapro list?
$2013.
50% of these people are not even employed here.
This pro, this is,
Okay. Let's see. I don't know what you got, Mr. Harris.
I have a 2013 parapro list, 2020.
Okay. That must have been just something that was attached, because I don't have that. That, I don't know what
Should
it
have been
is.
just scales, I'm not sure what.
You got that too?
yeah, I got.
Was it in
I
an
can look
email?
at it, but I
No,
don't.
it's.
Oh, no, you don't have to look at it, I just want
It
to
wasn't
look
in
at
my
it.
email.
Oh, you want to update
But
it?
it's
Okay.
attached on this.
Yes, sir.
No,
It attached, all this attached together, this.
So I didn't
I
get that.
didn't get that either.
It's an old paraprofessional list, he wants to be updated, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Where did that come from?
Well, let me ask this question, does that,
It got, Ms. Reese Perry, she retired, ain't she?
Yeah, I mean,
Where did that come from?
John Banks.
it's not nothing I printed out.
Tina, that must tell us. Tina must have printed that by mistake.
well, even if she did, that has, the question I guess is, that has no,
Nothing to do with this.
that has nothing, yeah, none of those, we're not even considering paraprofessionals as a four-year degree scale for this change. These are for non-certifiable positions, whereas paraprofessionals are certified positions, am I right? Great question.
That'd be a board decision.
Okay, so
That'd be a board
let's
decision.
discuss that. So when it, in reference to salary scales, when it comes to paraprofessionals receiving a four-year degree, why, tell me why would we not, I guess is a better question. Why would we not add them? Then I'll ask you why we would.
Well, okay, well, I guess this would be my, statement with that. We're providing some clarity now.
Okay,
We did not provide that clarity before,
okay,
because we just said four-year
okay,
degree.
okay.
So, because we're providing clarity,
Mm-hmm.
we can clear that up.
Okay,
But because we did not provide that clarity before,
okay. So,
I would have had
because it was a
to-
blanket statement.
It was a blanket.
Okay, so removing the blanket statement, what we would say is the four-year degree salary scale does not affect or have bearing on certifiable areas. These are non-certified positions who are being affected by this salary scale. Is that the idea? So with the non-certified area or certified position, anything that's non-certified is a direct result of our fund balance and payroll. Anything that's non-certified, that's not true. Because you have central office staff that may be non-certified that receive federal and state funding.
Mhm,
Am I right, Mr. Austin?
Yes, sir.
mhm.
We have to word this properly so that it's a policy, because salary scales are yearly, but yeah, it can't be a blanket statement.
I understand what you're saying, trying to say. Every parapro that might have a four-year degree, or may get a four-year degree, may not become a teacher. But there again, if we're needing teachers, I just don't want us to get in a discrimination battle of
Okay.
Why do we exclude?
Well, the point, because it's not an exclusion. Paraprofessionals have a salary scale.
Right. Correct.
Is it this salary scale?
Mm-hmm.
If it's this salary scale, then why wasn't it presented as it was stated there was a mistake that it was added? That's my question.
No, that was not a mistake that was added. What was added was that listing.
Which is a
name.
paraprofessional.
Name, yes, names, that name. That's not, the paraprofessionals is right here. This is their salary scale. You don't have that? This is not named.
No, I don't have it.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, yeah, you should have that. That was in your pack, because I put that over there.
No, I don't have that.
You didn't have that in your email line?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have police
I don't
chief,
have that one either.
I have police chief, payroll associate, and school
No,
secretary.
see, what happened is, I put these out at y'all's desk. Tina came in and put something else down. You should have a loose 4 sheets that I put.
That's what I have.
Loose 4 sheets. All right, because I put them out before I left. Do you have 4 sheets loose?
I do.
Okay, then,
I don't have what you have.
there you go.
What's the difference?
There's no difference. You just,
That was just my copy I had to provide.
I don't know what that opinion is.
So, Mr. Dixon, I just wanna make sure I'm clear, with the 4-year degree, if they, just say if their degree is in something that's not
Related to the
related to education. If it's physical therapist, or if it's something
Not
different,
education,
Yes.
business admin or education. Just
Right.
Clerical would be.
would they still be,
Those are the parameters that we have
Eligible.
to set. And see, and we didn't do our due diligence on setting those. That's why we're back here tonight.
Well, this goes beyond the scope of the conversation, because truthfully, if you start talking paraprofessional, why would we employ a non-certified paraprofessional? Why would we employ a non-certified teacher without a waiver? So teacher salary scales are state-based. Paraprofessional salary scale can be locally based. However, the ultimate goal is to have a certified paraprofessional. So once again, introducing back to the blanket statement, it was, the conversation initially was non-certified positions. This may be a non-certified position in time, but it's a certifiable position, which shouldn't meet this salary scale. This salary scale for 4-year degrees, as we discussed in preliminary conversations, was to give a salary scale that we didn't have in place. Am I correct? Do we have a current salary scale in place for non-certified positions?
Yes.
We have certified, yes.
Okay, so this is an updated salary scale.
Absolutely. Anything that say 4-year degree is
Updated.
All right, so I agree with you, Ms. Blackshear. Let's take what we have currently in place and compare it to what we're introducing.
And that's what that does, the right column.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that.
Yeah, that's gonna take some romancing.
Mhm.
To identify. Separate part of the conversation. The initial part of the conversation back again is, why would we accept a paraprofessional salary scale for a 4-year degree for a certifiable position? That's the conversation on the table.
And make sure that if we all understand, when you're saying for certifiable, you're talking about certifiable to become a teacher? or
Certifiable to become a parapro. There's such thing as a certified paraprofessional.
Oh, yes, they have to become certified as a paraprofessional,
Mhm.
yes. You're correct.
Okay, so that's part two of the conversation. Part three of the conversation would be this. Why would we hire or entertain hire four-year degree individuals for pay scale that didn't meet the level of education? Why would we hire or consider candidates with a bachelor's degree for a paraprofessional position and not a teacher?
There are times when they haven't met the introductory level requirements.
Okay.
And when things changed with TAP, some things changed with TAP where you did not have to, prior to some things, you did not have to pass some requirements to get into TAP, which made it easier. You had a year or two to pass the test. Now they've flip-flopped to where you got to pass the test to get into TAP. So that would have been the case. So someone would become a parapro to work around it, get in it, get your feet wet. So you move, your next step would be to become a teacher. That would have been a situation.
That has been a situation.
Yes. There have been plenty, some of our best teachers have been parapros and worked their way up to teachers. So just some of those type situations.
Back at square two, why would we employ four-year degreed individuals for a certifiable position and pay them at a rate almost comparable to a first-year classroom teacher non-certified?
Give me that example. Which pay scale you're talking about?
Paraprofessional.
Paraprofessional. On the paraprofessional scale. Okay, that would be 21. Beginning teacher salary now, James, is 35. 35.
So why would I be a parapro if I can make 35 as a first-year teacher non-certified? It's almost saying we have the same credentials, but I have less work than you. So I'll take the parapro job, but we have the same credentials. Or why would I do that and I can make 35 and we have the same credentials? So you'll just hire people non-certified for both positions.
Sometimes that's the opening. Sometimes there's not a teacher opening. And sometimes I want to get around it. I want to be in it. I want to be near it to to learn a little bit more. You know, because there's not a spot.
At the expense of our fund balance, I could not support a paraprofessional in a four-year degree salary scale, because the ultimate goal for a paraprofessional with a bachelor's degree is to become a certified educator. You can work up to 3 years possibly under a waiver from the state to receive certification. If it takes you 3 years or longer, then maybe classroom may not be for you. However, at the expense of, we've done well with this since I've been around just a little short time, and we've afforded some opportunities to some good people that I think help them and position them to become classroom teachers. However, our fund balance cannot continue to sustain this amount of pay for local funds because they are non-certified positions. My recommendation to the board is not to accept that portion of this salary scale. However, we do know that a real secretary actually runs the school. I believe in that. I believe that a good principal, in addition to a good secretary, can just about run a school. I do believe in compensating those who are degreed. I believe in compensating those who actually work. I believe that everyone has a job to do, but I could not C, there may be some other positions that fall in this category as well. What the board would need to do is look at every employee that we employ and the rate that they make and see what scale they are on. Because what it looks like we took the initial conversation. This conversation started by a school secretary. And then I see we added in police chief safety, which is fair because that's an uncertified position, or it is certified because there's some certified certifications that he has to, or he or she has to and maintain, just as a educator would. Payroll associate, I definitely agree. There may be some other central office employees that may fall in this category as well. One thing that I have noticed in discussing this salary scale is that we employ some people in some positions that they may be overqualified for. And it would not be a good idea for us to drain our fund balance paying people to do jobs in positions that they're overqualified for. Yes, there is a such thing as being underqualified, but there's a such thing as being overqualified. I don't think that we can build this salary scale to sustain positions at a rate. We need to put people where they fit. And that's education level in addition to competency. Just because you're degreed doesn't mean you're competent to do that job. We need to further discuss this, and we will have to take this position by position because there are some positions in the district that aren't listed here, and that's no problem, but I do not support the paraprofessional salary scale increase.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
To table this until the next meeting.
Which is
October. Be October the 13th.
Okay.
At 6:00 p.m.
I'll put a motion on the book for that.
I move that motion that we table this to October, what day is it?
13th.
13th meeting.
I second that motion.
Motion was made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Harris. To table the 4-year degree pay scale until October 13th meeting, regular session board meeting. Is there any discussion at this time? Any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried now. That's all we have on our business agenda. Executive session, to have a motion that we enter into executive session.
So moved.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Blackshear, second by Mr. Harris. And we'll move into executive session. Any discussion? Are you ready for the question? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried. We will be back. We're back out of the executive session. May I have a motion that come out of executive session back into regular, session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Harris, that we come out of executive session back into regular session. Any discussion? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. That motion carries unanimous. Only thing in executive session, we discussed, superintendent search. The board have approved, a firm for the, superintendent search. And we'll have more information on that by the next board meeting, October the 13th, 2020. Anything else? Seeing that all, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I move that motion.
I second that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Harris. There any discussion at this time? That the meeting be adjourned. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Meeting adjourned.